the next thing we are going to talk about multi-container pod. Okay. Till now, we were using only one containers per pod, right? When we are bringing up a pod, so we're bringing only one container. Okay. So multi-container pods will be something whenever I want to do some kind of a backup activity or something like that, I'll be using multi-container pod. So this is a typical example. Let's say I have one container which will be generating data, okay, and another container which will be displaying the data to the external world, okay. And here I am going to share a same value volume between both the containers, okay. So one container will be generating and writing the data to the volume, and another container will be reading that value and it will be displaying it. So in this case, we will keep one container as a Linux container, which will be just printing some values into a file. And another container will keep a Nginx container, which will be just kind of generating the HTML file. Okay, let's see how this is going to work in the multi-container pod scenario. Let me come out of this. Let us Notepad multi API version 1 and this pod metadata we call the name of the pod as multi-container, and let's provide the specs for it. So containers, and I'm going to create two containers, so let me keep it as separate entity. So let me first create the data dispatcher. And for this, let me use the image Nginx. Let me use Nginx. And I'm going to create a mount path, okay, and that mount path it will be displaying. So volume mounts, we call this as HTML mount path. So in Apache, we have seen Apache will be looking out for their data in var www HTML and index.html is the default page, right? Here, the default mount path is /user//nginx/html. Let me create one more container. It should be the same line with the containers. Yeah. Let me call data generator. Okay. And here, let me use a Debian image and volume mounts name. So I'm going to use the same volume mount name. so that I can attach a same volume there. HTML and same mount path is let me mount it in the slash HTML. And next, I'm going to give the command because this is a base Linux thing, so it will not have a running process. So I'm going to run a shell script which will be running in an infinite loop so that the script will be running. And this will be writing some data inside the HTML directory. Let's see that. So command command slash bin slash sh command -c, and arguments for the command is while true. That means every time it is going to be true. So it's going to create an infinite loop. Do. So let me. So date is a Linux command which will be printing the current system time. Okay. So date. Let me write it to slash HTML slash index.html, and then I want it to sleep for 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds it will be printing a value in the index.html. Okay, and let me close the while loop. So it is done. And next is I'm going to provide the volumes So the name, I'm going to use the common HTML name. Yeah, I'm going to use the integer here. Let me save this. And kubectl apply -f multi-container.yaml. Let's create the pod. So if you do the kubectl get pods, you would see the multi-container will be 2 out of 2. If you see the other pods, they are 1 out of 1. That means this pod is having 2 containers running. So to get more info, kubectl describe pod multi-container. You can see it is having 2 containers, one with the name that data dispatcher and another with the name data generator, and you can see the respective informations of the container. So when we do a exec command, right, in a normal single pod container, it is going to execute around the only one container which is going to run. Okay. Now I have multiple containers there. How I'm going to execute the exec? Let's see that. So first, let me see it in the dashboard. So if you go to the pods, the multi-container, if you try to do the execute, you can see now it is showing me options to choose which container I want to do it. For example, in the data dispatcher, it will be like cat / user share nginx html index.html is the file I'm generating. So it is printing every 30 seconds, it's printing it. Okay. But if I do it in the data generator, cat / html index.html, this is where the file is getting generated. In the UI, it gives you option to choose which container to run. Okay. But in the command line, what is the option I'm going to get? Okay, let's see. So kubectl get pod and kubectl exec -it. If I try to give a multi-container pod -bash, so it is taking me to the default container called data dispatcher because that is my first container, right? So it is taking me to the default container called data dispatcher, and there I can see the content of usr /share /nginx /html index.html. It is going to print that. But in case if I want to connect to a particular container, like instead of dispatcher, I want to connect to the dispatcher. So I can do like this, exit. You can give an option called -c, and you can provide the container name. So you can provide this way. And if I want to connect to the other container, data generator or creator, which one I have here? Generator. Cat /html index.html. This way you can do this. So this is how in a multi-container pod, if you want the command to be executed on a particular pod, you can use the -c option to select the container.